Well, let's take a listen to this amazing song.
Yes.
Here it is.
God, I feel like you're here tonight. So we just want to celebrate. I woke up with this feeling you're about to move. Alright, alright. Now here we are, it's just me and you. Where we going now? See, I've been looking, and I think I'm about to find what I've been looking for. Break it down one time for me. Joy like I can't describe this high, but when my mind is so unlike no other thing in life I can't deny that you are here tonight. You find me and you shine your light into my life, stay by my side, cause I know when you out there I'm alright. Yeah, you are here. Let's go tonight. You're here tonight. You're here tonight. Alright, alright. Yeah, you are here tonight. I can feel you, feel the room. We hear what's calling you. Our praises all to you. Yeah, you are here tonight. Joy like I can't describe this high, but when my mind is so unlike no other thing in life I can deny. Yeah, you are here tonight. Bring it back now. You give me the heart to be all you made me to be. Someone giving you the best of me, I'm free. And I know it's real, cause for once my mind is still. Now with peace I'm filled and the heartbreak healed. And it's all because of joy like I can't describe this high. But when my mind is so unlike no other thing in life I can't deny. You are here tonight. You find me and you shine your light into my life, stay by my side. Cause I know when you're out there I'm alright. Yeah, you are here tonight. Oh yeah, you're here tonight. You are here tonight. You're here tonight. I feel you here tonight. Yeah, you are here tonight. I can feel you, feel the room. We hear what's calling you. Our praises all to you. Yeah, you are here tonight. Joy like I can't describe this high, but when my mind is so unlike no other thing in life I can deny. Yeah, you are here tonight. See, it's like this. God, where your presence is, that's where we want to be. Hey, your cowboy, give him some praise on that guitar. Break it down. Joy like I can't describe this high, blowing my mind is so unlike no other thing in life I can't deny that you are here tonight. You find me and you shine your light into my life, stay by my side, cause I know when you're out there I'm alright. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tonight. Oh yeah, you're here tonight. You are here tonight. You're here tonight. I feel you here tonight. Yeah, you are here tonight. I can feel you, feel the room. We hear what's calling you. Our praises all to you. Yeah, you are here tonight. I feel you here tonight. I feel you here tonight. Yeah, I feel you here tonight. I feel you here tonight. Keep it going now. I feel you here tonight. 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 I can feel you here tonight. Yeah, you are here tonight. And that's it.
And that was Here Tonight on Corner Cafe. We love it.
Yes, I told you it was a hot one. I told you it was a hot one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I was telling
fun.
Sean, just before we started our program, I was telling Sean, I said, dude, the last song, Brand New that's the best song you've ever done. And then he comes out with, Here Tonight. I'm thinking, no, dude, now that's the best song you've ever done. And he's probably
Every time a new song comes out.
No, that's the best one. And he's probably thinking, man, quit saying that. I don't know if I could do any better than this one.
Either you really like these new songs or you really hated the old ones.
Right? No, honestly, I loved all of them. Seriously, very, very good. I loved all the ones I was in. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, everything you were in. Was I in that video? Yeah, that's my favorite one.
No, this guy needs no help. God brings him the best people, and he just makes it work with whomever gifts and talents that comes out, and he just does a fabulous job. And I'm gonna say I'm so proud of you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people they'll get discouraged, and so I'm posing a question here to you, Sean. When you said earlier, you said, I wish I had done this 2-3 years ago. Now, we
Yeah.
know that God's timing is perfect.
And I'm thinking, you're
Exactly.
young.
Yeah, I know. He's only 18. You know?
Oh yes. No.
He looks 18.
But at least you're not saying that at 80 years old.
Right,
Right,
you know?
right. So what would you say to people, Sean, when they listen to your ministry, they listen to the songs, and that those songs are part of your testimony, where you've come from, where you're going, where you want to be, and they're discouraged? What would you say to them?
Man, it's tough. I would say that I totally know where you're at. It's a tough season right there, and it sounds cliche to be like, you know, God made you uniquely you, and nobody can tell you to be anything different. But you know, when you break that message down, you know, I spent so long, you know, praying for God to, you know, let me do this, God, let me do this, let me do this. And I was like, it's always like, oh, well, you're not ready to do that. You're not ready to do that. And so where the shift came was, instead of like, God, let me do this, it was, you know, God, show me how to prepare to do this. And so God was saying like, okay, well, I know what you want, but what are you doing to get, you know, to get that, to show me that you're ready to
Right.
do that, you know? And so there was a lot of discouraging times that I went through, but that was the thing about everything that I had been through, was just, you know, let down and build up and let down and build up and let down. I wasn't doing the things to show God that I was serious.
Right.
What was happening was I was
Share a practical thing.
So practically,
He said, well, you let me get deep now.
I was, yeah, so
Right. We're getting the
going
mic
into it.
real close now.
We're going into it. So practically, I was putting my faith in people to do the work for me,
Yeah.
rather
Okay.
than God to do the work through me.
Okay.
That's good.
And so a very specific example was, I'm asking somebody, hey, you know, can get these shows for me, or
Right.
hey, you know, do the, you know, just kind of do this
Book
for me.
these shows for me.
Yeah, book
Yeah.
these shows for me. And then where the switch came is like, hey, do it yourself, like put some work in there, you know,
Right.
instead of asking people to do things for you, why don't you put some work in and
Right.
do it yourself, you know?
Right.
Why don't you spend more time on the writing piece? Why don't you
Right.
spend more time, be more invested? And the big change, you know, as far as putting faith in people over God, which is stupid, is terrible, was listening to people tell me, don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Stay in your lane, don't sing. That's, you know,
Right.
your lane isn't singing. Don't do that. You
That's a lie.
Your lane isn't
Yeah.
dancing. Don't do that. Your lane. This is not your lane. Just rap. That's where we want you. You know.
Right.
Was listening to that, and so just being like, all right, well, you know, this person said do this, so I'm gonna
Right.
do that. So, you know, putting the faith in people to work for you rather than for God to work through you. You know, someone was
Right.
dictating the choices that I made, as opposed to like, all right, God's telling me to do this. And so because of that, it built up this huge like confidence barrier where, you know, I was just like, I really want to do this, but I can't. Where it's
Oh,
like,
wow,
so
yeah.
like, even when these people were out of my life, I still believed that I couldn't do it because
Right.
I had put so much faith in them.
Yeah.
Right.
And I let them do the work for me. I let them tell me how to work. I let them tell me what to do. And, you know, instead of being like, oh, okay, well, if you don't think I can sing, maybe I should go practice. And like,
Right.
you know, like go and practice. And so all of that came later. So
Yeah.
going back to what I'm saying, like I just wanted everything, but I didn't do what it took to actually, you know, make that happen.
Right.
It's like, all right, I just listened to you, took your word for it, and then just decided that was it. But it's like, instead of developing and trying to take the steps necessary to be in that area where I felt like God wanted me to be at.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, those
Wow.
practical steps of practicing singing.
Yeah.
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 And you edit your videos. You taught yourself how to edit.
Right.
And, you know, because we can be, with this huge vision that we have, held up in certain areas because
Yeah.
they're like, I need somebody to edit
Yeah.
my music video.
Right, right.
And if the case is that there seems to be nothing happening in that area, well, why don't you just take
Try
up the
it
task
yourself,
yourself,
yeah.
you know, and then you find out you're a great editor.
Yeah.
You know, we do need a team, but then there's those moments where the Lord has gifted us in that area,
Right.
and we can do it.
Yeah.
So I love that.
There's situations where it's like, you know, if I if I don't do it because I don't want to do it, then that's a failure on my end. You know,
Yeah.
if I don't do it because I tried it and I can't do it, you know?
Right. You're like, I really want to do this.
like
I just
work
can't.
for it.
That's a sign. Hire somebody.
So
Yeah.
so production is a great example. You know, I can punch and come up with little ideas and stuff, but I don't have the key knowledge. I don't have the you know, that's not like we were talking about with the dance and the directing
Yeah.
and the video editing. Like I get a passion for that.
Yeah.
The production side, it's not there, you know. And so I've put my hand at it. I've tried it, and it just doesn't stick. And I had an album you know, that never got released that I had produced myself, and it just, you know, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, you know, this isn't it. So that was one of the areas where I'm like, all right, go outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. But at least you
branch out.
tried, and sometimes
Yes.
you don't know until you try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point that I'm making. Like again, like I said, if I don't do it because I don't want to do it, then I'm failing. But if I
Right.
don't do it because, you know, I tried and I can't do it, or because realistically somebody can do it much better than I can,
Right.
then, you know, you got to know when to step back. You got to know
Right.
what you can do, and you got to know what you shouldn't do.
Right. Right.
You know.
Well, I love what you said in regards to the you used the term faith. You know, sometimes God wants us to do it ourselves so we can stretch our faith, because we have to be able to see Him in everything that we're maybe afraid or timid to do.
Yep.
And
Right.
so when we explore that avenue of walking in faith, then He says, okay, now you're walking in something that you know you don't have a control over.
Yeah.
Now I can come in and take over and bless it.
And
Yeah.
man, that's still the hardest part. you
It's
know?
tough, yeah.
So I believe this, you know, this saying, it goes like this. It says, what you fear the most is where you trust God the least.
Right.
And-
Absolutely.
yeah.
And for me, as far as a music career and stuff, that has been like the biggest fear of like, oh, what if people don't like this music? Or what if I put this out
Right.
and people, you know, like, and exactly like you said, you know, there's all those fears that bury down, and it kills your confidence, it kills your momentum, it kills your drive, it
Yeah.
kills all of that. But what you fear most is where you trust God the least. So in order to overcome that fear, you got to trust God more, which
Absolutely.
is definitely easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's, you know, if it's worth doing, you know,
Yeah.
nothing that's nothing that's worth doing is easy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true.
Right. That's some good advice right there, and some practical ways in which we're living out our faith in the artistry world.